Come and let your voices be heard. The candidates for South Carolina Governor and the 5th District Solicitor's Office are here to listen. Bishop Eric W. Davis and the Word of God Church and Ministries International will host a town hall meeting on Thursday, June 7th, starting at 6:30 p.m. in their banquet hall. There will be a panel discussion at 6:30 with the gubernatorial candidates Phil Noble, James Smith, and Marguerite Willis. The second session at 7:30 will consist of candidates Byron Gibson and Dan Johnson, running for the 5th District Solicitor's Office. The town hall meeting will provide an opportunity for citizens like you to ask questions and hear the views of some of the candidates running for these offices. All Columbia citizens are invited to attend. Moderating the town hall meeting will be Friendy Clairvaux of Watch Fox News. The doors will open at 6 p.m. Don't miss out on this opportunity to let your voice be heard.
Stop. To come to an end, cease to happen. The denoting one or more people or things already mentioned or assumed. Silence. Complete absence of sound. Stop. The silence. Stop the silence.
Hey everybody, how are you doing today? I'm so excited. I'm here with a very special guest, my own bishop. But before we introduce him, I'm Ebony Dixon, the baby jumper, and you are listening to and watching, if you're watching online, Stop the Silence, where we give a voice to your written words. So our special guest today is Bishop Davis. Bishop Davis, welcome.
Thank you, Ebony. I'm so glad to be here.
So glad to have you here. We've been talking about trying to get you in here for a minute.
Yeah, we have.
But we've been on the road. Huh?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
It's been quite a busy season.
It has been. So for anybody who doesn't know you, could you give the people a little bit of something about you?
Well, I'm Eric Davis, from right here from Columbia, South Carolina. I grew up in the Lower Riverton area, went to Lower Riverton High School, went to state. But actually, I started off in New York. I was born in New York, moved back here when I was in the 3rd grade. My family's originally from here, though. And, went to state, got a little engineering thing going on there, degree, and went on to do the corporate, America thing. And God called me to ministry in the mid-90s, and I left my corporate career and came back, started ministry, started very urban outreach, street oriented, that's what I was called to. And God has just, over time, grown a very large urban outreach ministry, now called Word of God Church and Ministries. Absolutely. International.
Don't forget the international.
International.
Did you ever imagine that it would be this big and growing so fast?
Kind of a mixture there. I didn't just imagine it. It was shown to me in a vision. I mean, you hear people say that, but I actually, received a vision when I received my call. I did not want to preach. My father has, been a pastor for 35 years. I had no desire to do it. It was a true call. I was 26 years old, making a lot of money. Didn't want to leave it. God said, quit your job. Come lead that. Come do this.
How was that transition?
Oh, that was a walk of faith and obedience. But the amazing thing about that with God, like the week I had to come back, I was in Chicago and interviewing with Honeywell for a job. I was working for Westinghouse in Virginia, and the Lord says, go back, quit your job. And God didn't give you the route, He gives you steps. So the first step I knew was quit. So go back Monday, quit. I go to work and I hear the Lord say, wait. So I'm waiting to quit all day.
Wow.
So I go back home, 5 o'clock, I think I'm going, schizophrenic now. I go back home Tuesday, I go back to quit. God says, wait again. So same thing all day. I can't work, can't get anything done. Then Wednesday, the tonation changed. I heard the voice of the Lord straight up. And it was like, wait. And so literally midday, and nobody knew how it blew. A notice came down that my company was merging with CBS. Everybody was scared to death. God says, now go in and tell your manager you want to be downsized. So I got a 2-year severance package, So God had it all worked out. but I had to walk in faith. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, but it taught me something about the sensitivity of his voice. You got to do exactly what he says. Because had I quit Monday, I'd have missed it by 2 days.
Right.
So it's God.
I had a very similar experience, but I didn't wait, and but I still learned a lot of lessons through it. So yeah, it's very important to listen to the voice of God and be obedient, no matter what the outcome is. Like if you don't know what the next step is, and that's us. We want to know what the next step is all the time.
And I think that kind of fine-tuned me because as it relates to the ministry, you know, talking about the vision, when I saw all these things ahead of me, that you know, the best way I describe it. It's like the Marvel Comics intro to like the Avengers or whatever, when the pages are flipping and you can see all these scenes. Wow. That's how I saw the future. Like I saw myself in different scenes and ministry. So when you ask me, could I imagine it? It's beyond imagination. It was literally in the realm of vision. But how God was going to do it, I didn't know. I just had to walk out all the steps, and still am. This is part of the steps.
How do you think your faith got there? I mean, has it been just like little things over the years, or I mean, like, 'cause that's pretty.
Yeah, I think that some things. Well, you know, faith is a gift too, right? That's a gift of faith, and that's supernatural faith is when somebody's been endowed with faith that brings everybody else's faith along too. So there's personal faith, there's the faith of salvation, but there's a gift of faith. So I think there's a mingling in there. I think there's a gift in there where God, because I can't tell you, I was serious about my faith when I got saved and serving God at a young age, but I can't remember anything that I did to say that I'm it's almost like lifting weights. Like I did this so much more than anyone else that I can lift this more. No, God just kind of, there's a knowing in you, and He put it in my spirit. So once I hear it, it's very difficult for me not to do it. Like once I hear from God and I know it's God, it's like everything in my being has to do that thing. And that's the only way I can describe it. I always wondered how, because there were so many things in faith that were like exact moments. Like if you didn't listen at that time, you'd have missed it. And I always ask God, like, what did you do to me to make my hearing so keen?
I need some of that.
Yeah, I wish I knew how to give it to you. Just listen and obey. That's all I can say, man.
Wow, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us about Irly Bird.
See, Irly Bird he epitomizes that because Irly Bird, when we were in Africa, we have the 10 churches and 5 in Sierra Leone. Well, now 11 now, but 6 now in Ghana and Togo. And we went to Sierra Leone first. Sierra Leone is really rough because, it's war torn. They had the Ebola virus. Right. We literally had to wait to go until the virus passed.
That's where all the flooding was too.
But see, the flooding actually helped because prior to the flooding, Ebola was ravaging the country. And it's, I don't know, it just the flooding kind of purified some things. Wow. So after that, we were able to go in. We waited about a year. We go in, but now you're looking at the vestiges of flooding, disease, and orphans. So we go in, and we're doing 3 feedings in 3 different locations, 2 in our churches and 1 in these slums called Crew Bay. I'm feeding these babies, and the Lord is just touching my heart. It's one thing when you look on TV and they kind of exploit the children with flies over them and with a porridge in front of them. But when you go and you touch these babies, I personally fed every child. I want to touch every child. So I'm sitting here and I can't get these babies out of my spirit. So I fly over to Ghana, and the first night we're in a little villa. We're staying in a villa in Ghana, and me and Elder Shep and Skip was with us. We were just out talking about the experience, and we were up on our time because they're 4.5 hours ahead. And I went to go to bed. I was praying. I talked to the Lord, and the babies are just still in my spirit. So I asked God. I said, God, give me. It was one of the purest prayers I ever prayed. I said, give me something. I said, I appreciate what the church is doing. Thank God for that. Give me something that I can do to help these babies. And I committed to God. You committed. You make a vow to the Lord, and whatever it is, I'll give. Forget 10. I'll give 30%. Right. Of whatever it is. God said, okay, deal. As soon as I go to lay down and go to bed, rooster starts crowing. I think it's 4:30 in the morning. It's dark. I'm like, what this crazy rooster crowing in the dark? And I tell everybody now it's my wake-up call. Because when the rooster started crowing, I heard it, like, get up, write. And I could just see it. And I got up and I just started writing this book about Irly Bird, the absent-minded rooster, crows at the wrong time. And and the rest is history. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, how many books do you have besides this first book here?
We have 21 books now that are written. I have enlisted an illustrator who's working very diligently to get them all done. I think he's on book number 9 now, and so he'll be working for me the rest of the year, just pumping out books. And he's cranking out like 2 books a month. So he'll be cranking out for a while.
You're cranking out like 2 books a day, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm cranking out pretty fast
Songs,
too.
books, everything.
All that. They have me working day and night now. But yeah, we're up to 21 books. 12 of them are STEM, and the rest of them are early bird adventures. We're looking at cartoons, live shows. I got an international distributor that is about to contract the series, and so there are a lot of things.
Now, for someone who doesn't know what STEM is, explain that.
STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. As I said, my undergrad is in engineering, so I've dabbled in this kind of thing a little bit. So and I'm not calling the name of the distributor because the contract's not signed yet, but when we talked to them, and they were very, very large, they said the area that they had a dearth of information for kindergarten through 3rd grade was STEM. They don't have anything on STEM careers. And this is a company that's literally international. So I immediately started writing STEM books, about, imagine you have a kindergarten and you say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a football player, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a policeman. That's because of a lack of exposure. And that happens in our community a lot. But then you have other children who've grown up in the house of an architect. They grow up in the house of an engineer. They go to work with them. So they say, I want to be a nuclear whatever. So this is an opportunity to break it down in a level where kids can understand it. And
it's fun for them.
It's fun, man. And
it's fun for me.
They get a chance. And so Irly is the character. It's like the Sesame Street meets Dr. Seuss. Meets something different and new. And he's in all these adventures. He's a learning character, but he's also a fun character. And so it's real cool.
What I thought was cool was that, could you show everybody the book?
Oh, yes.
What I thought was cool is how this is kind of just evolving. Like you have actual characters.
Can I put this down?
Yes, you can. You have actual characters. You're actually doing shows. You have allowed me to be a part of this adventure, which has been so cool.
Yes.
That, we went to Charleston a few weeks ago, and we actually put on a show for the kids. Like, how did all that come about?
That's another function of vision. I mean, when God gives you a thing, He gives you the vision, and then you have to be obedient and do the parts that God tells you to do. So that's what I heard. I heard, that it wasn't just a book, that it's a live production. So I went about, getting the characters and the costumes and everything done. It was a lot of work, and not a little bit of money either. But it's a part. I was just telling a young man the other day that we oftentimes want visions to invest in us, but you have to invest in your vision before your vision ever will invest in you. And that's what that was about. It's like, this is much bigger than just a book series. So we went about putting all that together. And like you said, the evolution of it, seeing the way the districts, we're now staging 25 shows in 15 cities, large venues of, like the Township Auditorium. We're in the process over the summer of staging all of those shows from the Charleston show. So it's just rolling. Because it's a genuine need. I mean, there is a real need for this product.
That's so cool. So how did everything go in Charleston?
Everything went exceptional in Charleston. We're getting great feedback. I'm actually supposed to go back and meet with the district representatives. I think I told you since we left Charleston, I wrote a book about the Charleston experience. And I'm proud to say that we're going to donate, because the schools we went to were true urban schools. They fit the demographic of what I said. 30% of all the proceeds of this book go back to missions and urban ministry. So those schools, that one school, Sanders Clyde, that we went to, has had 9 principals in 9 successive years. So it's hard to have any stability when you have that kind of thing going on. So that school touched me the most. So we wrote the book about Sanders Clyde. So we changed it from STEM to STEAM, because remember, they were STEAM. So I wrote an arts book specifically for them. And we are going to donate 5% of the proceeds for 5. I'm calling it 5 for 5. So for 5 years, I'm going to contribute 5% of all of the book proceeds back to that school. and I'm giving $5,000 to the teachers that all the classrooms we went to. Right. 500, I think it was like 10 teachers, so we're giving $5,000. So just to kind of incentivize them, because what we learned based on the two schools, teachers make a difference.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
We want to definitely incentivize them.
Absolutely.
So we're excited about it.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool just going into the schools and just looking at the kids light up, and just the importance of when you're doing things like that to be able to still be a teacher to the kids, learn from the little clock. Yeah, but, just to be able to convey what you need to convey to them, that they understand and, take a hold of that.
Yeah, I think that, the world is an adventure, and teachers are guides to that adventure. And I think that what happens a lot of times is the unwillingness to expose our children to the world, or you limit them to certain aspects of the world. One of the challenges that we have, for example, is that we call European history world history a lot of times, and you limit people's exposure to the world. One of the things about traveling the world, and I'm about to go out of the country in another month or so. Every time I go out of the country, it's kind of like when you see the pictures of people go to the moon and they look back at the earth, and then you see the whole picture of the earth. That's how it is with America. When you leave the country, your optic changes, your view changes of your country and your perspective. I was just telling somebody the other day that personally I'm going to stop calling people black and white. I was watching something on television and I saw a lot of American Caucasians. Actually, Trump was speaking to the Naval Academy, and they were all in pure white. And seeing them in white, it was such a stark contrast to what we called white people, who are really Caucasian. Right. And then you look at us. Neither one of us are black. You're wearing a black shirt. You're not black. But it does something. It creates a psychosis. And I've just chosen to retool my own mind. What anybody else does is up to them. But I'm not going to refer to people as black and white anymore, but Caucasian and American Negro, and I know that's going to be a challenge for a lot of us.
Yeah, it is. Because we're used to the black and white.
Black and white, we're used to African American, but see, we don't really think African. We've never been to Africa. We have no identification with it. I think that it is in part where our roots come from, but until you really go and you see what we actually insult the Africans when we call ourselves. Yeah, we insult them because they have a nationalistic mindset. They know who they are, but to say we're part of them, we don't know who we are and we don't know who they are, is almost insulting. So I think the American Negro is the approach I'm going to take. But I said that to say that teachers have a responsibility to take you on an exploration of the world, and a lot of times that just doesn't happen with children. This will do that, though.
Yeah, I believe so. So I see that Early Bird was affectionately named after your mom. Oh, how did that come about?
Well, my mom's name was Shirley, so Irly spelled with an I, because before she passed, she battled cancer for 14 years, but she was like an extremely creative. Like, people think I'm driven, but she put the D in driven. And so we didn't know it, but she had this gift to write children's books. So out of the blue, and she was so gifted, she was like you with the spoken word. She was just reciting the book to me. Like, she wasn't even looking at it. Like, I got to write my books and read them back to you. She's reciting this book to me in rhyme and prose. And the book was named Ezra and the Bumblebee. So when Ezra was a baby, my oldest son, she wrote Ezra and the Bumblebee. And it was a wonderful concept of this bumblebee who would come to Ezra's window. It was really in his dreams. And every night they go on an adventure. And it was just so cool how she was breaking down the adventures. And I'm like, how'd you do that? And so it stuck in my mind. So a month before I went to Africa, it was rolling in my head. And I told my father, I said, you got to find those manuscripts, man. We gotta publish those. And he said, man, I've looked everywhere. I can't find them. And it was like when that rooster crowed that night, it was like God, it was like this divine intersection, like my mother's creativity, because I'd never written a book before like this. The voice of God and the rooster all in one, and the children, it just merged into like this. I don't know whether it was in me and it came out or God deposited it, but I just started writing. And when my father read it, it almost brought him to tears. He was like, man, it's like you channeled her. It's like, this is crazy. So as I was thinking about the name of the bird, I was thinking about Earl E. Bird, with middle name, and then I thought about Irly and Shirley. I said, that feels right. So we did Irly.
That's so cool. Well, not only do you have the books and you have the productions that are going to be grand. I'm so excited to see that. When you talk about it today, I'm so excited about that. You also have a CD or songs.
Yeah.
Like you're coming up with songs like every day, Bishop.
Oh man, it's almost like, I'm trying to find the right way to say this. Sometimes ministry, church can be confining.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
Because we stay in one lane, or at least our perception. Mm-hmm. When you start thinking kingdom, though, there is no limit.
Right.
So church folk often think that we can only do church things. Mm-hmm. I've never been like that. But when you get in the grind of church so long, you kind of get pulled into it. Mm-hmm. This has been refreshing for me because it's just pulling on all my creative juices to think beyond. So God just started dropping the songs on me. It was after we went to Adventure, and I realized we needed more music for the kids. So I went home one morning, man. It's like a switch. It's like, all right, Lord, we need to make some kid songs. Right. And so all of a sudden, man, the songs started coming. You Can Count on Me, the Insect and Animal Alphabet. Give Me 3 Reasons for 4 Seasons. I'm really proud of the Insect and Animal Alphabet. I think it's going to be a hit. Yeah. I think it's a remake of the alphabet. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. Now I've done some new songs on gravity, on the water cycle, and all this, techie stuff.
Right.
It's really cool, man.
It's not only going to be cool for the kids, it's going to be cool for the parents. Because I'm saying some stuff that we didn't really remember or that we don't really think about.
Yeah. I was talking to Cedric Thompson last week that, produced our album for the church. And he's going to work with me on producing the album. And he's already pointing me to some national contacts. So we will actually have a kids album to go with the book series. Because the kids, by rehearsing it. Faith comes by hearing, but other things come by hearing too. So I'm excited about that. So we're trying to go ahead and get everything is slated to be done by the end of summer. So the album will be done. I just talked to my publisher about the print schedule for the other books by August. We're lining the shows up to start rolling in September. So by the time fall hits and we're back in school, everything will be rolling out. Hopefully I have my contract signed with the national electronic distributor. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah. So is it going to be just one CD, or is it going to be each book, each story has a particular song that's going to go with it?
No, it'll be a CD. But I think that once I talk to whatever company I'll probably work with, I'll work with a company on that. A lot of it I've maintained myself, and I'm developing companies. But then instead, do what you know to do. And the music side, I don't know. So I'll kind of follow their guide, or at least hear it in terms of how to develop it. But my thought is that we will do an album with singles. That each song is a single, but it'll be a complete album.
Okay, cool. So if somebody wanted to get the book for their child, how would they be able to do that?
Well, at the moment, you can go to earlybirdbooks.com, but we're not selling any books right now.
Okay.
All right. Later in July, I have a book signing that we're working on that we'll be releasing the date on that and the location, and that's when we'll start physically actually selling books. And then after that, into the fall, you'll be able to buy and order online through our website any of the books, partly because we're trying to finish the contractual things.
Right.
And I don't want to cannibalize my own market, because we'll have electronic books and we'll have hardback books and softback. But what we are doing this summer, the State Superintendent of Education has adopted the series, and they're going to be putting the books in certain school districts for summer school.
Okay,
so the books are going to be rolling out, but not for purchase just yet. I'm still tweaking some things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about if a teacher or a principal is watching or listening to this show and they say, hey, we need something like that at our school? Would they still go to earlybirdbooks.com?
Yeah, they can contact earlybirdbooks.com. They can also call the number 803-477-1080, which is the Early Bird office number. And they can contact us via that way, or they can contact us at earlybirdbooks@gmail.com. Okay. Earlybirdbooks@gmail.com, and early spelled IRLY. But earlybirdbooks@gmail.com would be the best way to reach out, and we'll get my staff on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see this stopping with the 21 books?
Oh, no. I'm brimming. I want to say who the national company I'm working with, who they are, but with the concept now that we're looking at is that early education is that Irly becomes a character that can teach children in any subject. We start with STEM, but he can teach you English, he can teach you anything. So it's this adventure, like Sesame Street, where they're doing anything. So,
are we thinking about doing Early Bird in different languages?
Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm partnering with them, because it'll be in.
That's so cool.
All kind of languages, all kind. The company we're talking about is in 50 countries, so Irly will be all over the place.
That is great. I am looking forward to this adventure.
Yeah.
Because it has been one so far, but once it starts rolling, though.
The narrator.
Listen, I am honored to be a part of this adventure. I hope that you all are tuning in and taking notes and being on the watch, being on the lookout for when we come to a city near you, because we're going to be coming to a city near you. Do you have any last words, Bishop?
No, thank you all for having me. We're excited about it. Please support. Know that, like I said, much of the proceeds are going back to help children all over the world. Right. And I'm really, really, really excited about that. Just the proceeds that we'll be able to take back to Africa to help those babies. So I got to ask my prayer, so I'm really happy. You know?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to taking those trips.
I know you are.
Thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget to stop the silence. Write your books, write your songs, write your movies, write whatever you need to write. Just get it out, because anything can be an inspiration. Till next time.
I imagine love to be an eternal relationship expressed in infinite ways. Like when a king is blessed with the presence of his queen, his heart rate races in his chest, he takes deep breaths, his speech suggests worship, his body language implements praise. Hey, how was your day? It's fine? Oh, mine? It was okay. Few round table meetings, a couple dragons I had to slay, and I found myself bragging about how your beauty is majestic. Your intellect is profound. You comprehend complex concepts, like how I believe love to be a seed. We all can succeed if we invest it. It'll grow above anything we have yet to achieve. I love how you see beyond the cons of this new age Babylon nonsense. Will you lay with me? The darkness of ignorance longs to infect our ligaments so we can't move and pervert the images of what true love is. But don't let it. This poetic content is meant to connect with your conscience. Stay with me. Created my destiny, but it's like you give my soul purpose. It's as if my sole purpose is to defend you from foes and curses. I'm bearing my soul in these verses, and that's okay with me, because occasionally love hurts us. It's a cold world where truth loses, lies win. But when I look into your eyes and analyze the intricate, infinite, intimate, innocent, and beautiful horizon, I realize, hey baby, we on another plane, but we could go higher. Communicate with the Messiah. Pray with me. So I join my palms, she place her hands on my arms, lay her head on my chest, and I envision that this is the position in which we belong in. I feel so strong, basically, like I'm her head, but by her side, to provide direction, protection from harm, shelter until the storm subside. I give praise, cause I'm blessed to be reborn, no longer slaves, cause everything in me that is wrong can die. I answer the call. Foundation, God's will is the wall. I'ma build us a house, a sanctuary in my heart. You should come on inside. Give me a hug.
See how love can replace wrath? I love the warm, vibing glow that your face has. Our home is your throne that'll transform into a spacecraft that'll travel through portals. I design verses with the purpose to unravel the lies implanted into the minds of mortals. Your path is divine all by itself. I'm honored to be the one to escort you to the ball. I imagine love to be a dance, like a royal romance, played out in front of the Most High. This is my belief. I'm your high priest. When I look into your eyes, I find peace. And when we kiss, woo! I fall in love.
Come and let your voices be heard. The candidates for South Carolina Governor and the 5th District Solicitor's Office are here to listen. Bishop Eric W. Davis and the Word of God Church and Ministries International will host a town hall meeting on Thursday, June 7th, starting at 6:30 p.m. in their banquet hall. There will be a panel discussion at 6:30 with the gubernatorial candidates Phil Noble, James Smith, and Marguerite Willis. The second session at 7:30 will consist of candidates Byron Gibson and Dan Johnson running for the 5th District Solicitor's Office. The town hall meeting will provide an opportunity for citizens like you to ask questions and hear the views of some of the candidates running for these offices. All Columbia citizens are invited to attend. Moderating the town hall meeting will be Friendy Clairvaux of Watch Fox News. The doors will open at 6 p.m. Don't miss out on this opportunity to let your voice be heard.